The animal kingdom is full of surprises. Many creatures out there are so unique that they might as well be from another planet. Sometimes, when closely related species mix, the result is offspring that's bigger, stronger, or just downright strange. Some of these might seem more like ancient myths, but trust us, they're very real.
There's the cat with wings.
And they're out there roaming the earth. Number 18. Wolf dog. A wolf dog is exactly what it sounds like, a mix between a wolf and a dog. But identifying one isn't as simple as it seems. That's where things get tricky for researchers and wolf dog enthusiasts alike. One of their biggest challenges? Telling the difference between a wolf dog, a pure dog, and a straight-up wolf hybrid. To solve this, most communities rely on a method called phenotyping. It sounds fancy, but it's really just about studying the animal's looks, things like face shape, coat, tail, and posture. This method helps experts guess how much wolf and how much northern Spitz type dog is in the mix. It's not perfect, but it's widely used. Interestingly, wolf dogs aren't just a modern mystery. Evidence suggests they've been around for over 10,000 years in the Americas. In Europe, ancient fossils point to their use in hunting mammoths. That's right, these animals were part of the action in the Ice Age. Number 17. Liger. A mix between a lion and a tiger, the name pretty much explains itself. But don't confuse it with a tigon. That's a different hybrid altogether. The liger is in a league of its own. This giant feline isn't just big. It's the biggest of all the big cats. And it picks up some fun traits from both parents. Like tigers, ligers usually love water and enjoy swimming. But like lions, they're also pretty social. It's a weird but fascinating mix that somehow works. What really sets ligers apart? Their size. They often grow way bigger and stronger than either of their parents. That's something tigons don't usually do. It's like the liger takes the best of both worlds and turns it up a notch. Believe it or not, these hybrids aren't a recent idea. The history of lion-tiger pairings goes all the way back to the early 19th century India. And in 1798, a French naturalist even made a colored drawing of one. By the 1930s, the word liger had officially entered the scene. Number 16. Elephant pig. Strange images have surfaced from Cambodia of a mutated piglet that looks like it's part elephant, part pig. Born in Pramoy, this little one has a long, trunk-like snout and huge, floppy ears that make it look more like a baby elephant than a pig. The piglet is scrawny and limp, unable to open its eyes, and seems to have some pretty serious physical deformities. It's unclear if it's still alive or what exactly caused its odd appearance. This isn't the first time something like this has happened, though. Back in 2014, a similar piglet was born in China, but only lived for 2 hours because it was born without a mouth. This little piglet was one of 8 in the litter, with the other 7 being perfectly healthy. While the exact cause of these strange deformities is still a mystery, it's fascinating how an animal can look like a mix of 2 completely different creatures. Number 15. Albino Gorilla. On the 1st of October, 1966, a group of farmers in Equatorial Guinea killed a female gorilla that had been munching on their crops. To their surprise, they found a tiny, all-white baby gorilla still clinging to its mother. One of the farmers, Benito Manier, took the baby home and named it Nfumu Ngui, which means white gorilla in the Fang language. 4 days later, he passed the baby over to Jordi Sabater Pai, a conservationist at the Ikunde Center. The baby gorilla spent about a month adjusting to life in captivity, and during that time, Sabater reached out to Professor Arthur Riopel in America to share the discovery. By November, Snowflake was moved to the Barcelona Zoo. A month later, he was introduced to the press, although his name wasn't revealed right away. In 1967, the name Snowflake stuck after Riopel and Zoll published an article in National Geographic. Snowflake became an international sensation, and his fame only grew from there. Over 36 years, Snowflake lived at the Barcelona Zoo, fathering 21 offspring with 3 different females. His rare albinism, making him sensitive to sunlight, didn't stop him from becoming a cherished zoo icon. Number 14. Glowing rabbits. In an effort to improve treatments for serious illnesses, scientists from the universities of Istanbul and Hawaii have created rabbits that glow in the dark. 2 of the 8 rabbits born in a litter turned from fluffy white to glowing green at night. This was done to show that a genetic technique works, though the green color is not important. It's just a marker to prove the experiment succeeded. The glowing effect was created by injecting jellyfish DNA into the embryos of a mother rabbit. These embryos were then placed back into the mother. This same technique has also been used to make glowing cockroaches and cats. While the glowing color isn't the main goal, researchers hope this method can eventually help create animals that produce medicines in their milk. These medicines could be easily collected and used in countries that can't afford expensive drug factories. The rabbits are expected to live as long as other rabbits, and while some people may disagree with experimenting on animals, Professor Stefan Moisiati believes the benefits could outweigh the concerns. Moisiati began the project in 2006 and is now waiting to see if similar results can be achieved with pregnant sheep. Number 13. Growler bear. The growler bear, also called the Fizzly bear, is a rare hybrid between a grizzly bear and a polar bear. Most of these hybrids live in zoos, but every now and then, one shows up in the wild, and that's when things get really interesting. In 2006, one such case made headlines. A strange-looking bear was shot on Banks Island in the Canadian Arctic. It didn't look quite like a grizzly, and it wasn't fully polar either. When scientists tested its DNA, the results confirmed it. A wild-born hybrid. That bear had both grizzly and polar bear parents. This was the first confirmed growler bear found in nature. Before this, there had been stories of hunters talking about odd-looking bears spotted or taken down in the wild, but no one could prove anything. DNA testing simply didn't exist back then to verify the mix. Growler bears are rare, but their existence raises big questions about changing environments. As polar bears move south and grizzlies wander north, these hybrids might become more common. Number 12. Two-headed calf. In a small village in North Macedonia, a two-headed calf made an entrance that no one saw coming. Born with polycephaly, this calf sported fused skulls, 2 sets of eyes, and 1 set of ears, definitely not your average barnyard animal. Remarkably, it could suck milk from both mouths at the same time, a true multitasker in the animal kingdom. Farmer Vasko Pestrovsky was quick to notice something was off when the calf was born in his barn in Lazek. We heard the cow was about to deliver, and when the calf came out, we saw it was rather extraordinary, he said. The vet confirmed it was a rare phenomenon, but assured them that the calf was functioning fine. Though polycephaly in animals is extremely rare, the calf's survival chances weren't great. But that didn't stop Vasko. "We will keep it as long as it is alive," he said, dedicated to providing care for the unique little creature, no matter how long its time in the world might be. Number 11. Kenny the tiger. Kenny the white tiger might not fit the classic definition of beauty, and that's what makes him so intriguing. Born with a rare genetic mutation, he's a white tiger with an unusual look, one that many would call far from conventionally attractive. His pale, almost ghostly coat, combined with a somewhat awkward build, makes him stand out in a way no other tiger does. White tigers, like Kenny, are the result of a genetic anomaly that causes a recessive trait to show up in their fur, giving them that striking white color and blue eyes. But for Kenny, this mutation didn't stop at just his fur. His features, including his facial structure, appear off in a way that some might find unappealing, especially when compared to the sleek and majestic look of other tigers. His face may seem a bit too squished, and his eyes, while a stunning blue, sometimes appear wide or tired, adding to his quirky charm. Despite not fitting the perfect mold of a tiger, Kenny's uniqueness makes him fascinating. His odd appearance may not fit traditional beauty standards, but it's this very strangeness that makes him stand out. Number 10. Octogoat. In the rolling fields of northeast Croatia, something truly bizarre was born. A goat with not just 4 legs, but 8. The farmer, Zoran Paparis, could hardly believe his eyes. "I counted his legs and thought I was seeing things," he said. He even had to double-check with his neighbor to make sure he wasn't imagining it. This wasn't just any ordinary oddity. The little goat also had both male and female reproductive organs, a rare condition known as hermaphroditism. According to experts, this happens in less than 15% of goats, making the octogoat's condition even more unique. Dr. Munashe Chigerwi explained that this condition is genetic and more common in goats than other farm animals. But multiple legs? That's something else entirely. A vet in Arkansas explained that the octogoat's extra limbs could be the result of a phenomenon called fetal reabsorption, where one fetus absorbs another during pregnancy. This could happen due to low levels of progesterone. Number 9. Grasshopper frog. At first glance, a frog with 6 legs might seem like a strange joke or a grasshopper. But these extra-legged frogs are very real, and their story is far weirder than you'd expect. For years, scientists blamed inbreeding or pollution for these deformities. And while those can play a role, the real troublemaker turned out to be something much smaller: a flatworm. These flatworms, specifically Ribiroia species, start their journey inside snails. Once they leave, they look for tadpoles. When they find one, they dig into the tiny buds on its back legs, the parts that are supposed to grow into strong, jumping limbs. But instead of helping the frog grow properly, the flatworm messes with the process. Sometimes the frog ends up with too many legs, 5, 6, or even more. Other times, its legs don't grow right at all. And here's where it gets dark. The flatworm wants the frog to be slow and clumsy. Why? Because a slow frog gets eaten by birds more easily. Inside the bird's stomach, the flatworm finally reaches its adult form and can reproduce. So in this strange and twisty life cycle, the frog becomes just a delivery service, one hopping, helpless vehicle in nature's bizarre chain of survival. Number 8. Janus cat. Named after the Roman god Janus, who had 2 faces, this rare cat is born with a condition called diprosopia. In simple words, it means their face is doubled. A Janus cat doesn't just have 2 noses or 2 mouths. It often has 2 complete faces side by side on one head. It's a wild sight and leaves many people wondering how such a thing is even possible. The cause? A rare birth defect that happens while the kitten is still developing in the womb. Sadly, most Janus cats don't live very long. Because their bodies are formed in such an unusual way, many don't survive more than a few days. But once in a while, a special one beats the odds. The most famous Janus cat, Frank and Louie, lived for 15 years and even made it into the Guinness World Records. Even though it's rare and a bit eerie to look at, a Janus cat is a real example of how strange and unpredictable nature can be. With 2 faces, 1 brain, and a whole lot of mystery, they remind us that in the animal world, nothing is ever too weird to be true. Number 7. Cyclops shark. Now here's something straight out of a science fiction movie, a real-life Cyclops shark. Yes, you read that right. This rare little creature was found in Mexico and has only 1 big eye right in the middle of its head. It all started when a fisherman named Enrique Lucero Leon caught a pregnant dusky shark near Cerralvo Island. As he opened the shark, he found 10 unborn babies inside, but one of them looked very different. Unlike its 9 normal siblings, this baby shark had just 1 eye, a single, working eye. That's because of a super rare condition called Cyclopia. It's something that can happen to humans and animals when they're still developing. Scientist Felipe Galvan Magana and Marcela Bejarano Alvarez were stunned when they heard about it. They quickly stepped in and got permission to study the baby shark. X-rays confirmed what they suspected. It was a true Cyclops. While this little guy didn't survive outside the womb, his body was perfectly preserved and became a big help to science. Cyclops animals are extremely rare, and when one turns up, it gives researchers a chance to learn more about how these wild mutations happen. Number 6. Two-headed turtle. A turtle with 2 heads might sound like something from a comic book, but it's real. This strange condition is called polycephaly, which means many heads. In the case of turtles, it usually means 2 heads on one body, sharing the same shell. This happens during early development, when an embryo starts to split into 2 but doesn't finish. Sometimes 2 embryos start to merge but don't fully combine. The result is 1 turtle, 2 minds. It's rare, but it happens. One famous example is Janus, a 2-headed tortoise who turned 25 and even got a birthday party. Each of his heads had its own tastes. One liked lettuce, the other preferred endives. Life isn't easy for these creatures. Because they have 2 heads, they don't always agree on which way to go, and they often can't pull both heads into their shell, which makes them easy targets in the wild. That's why many don't live long unless cared for by humans. Number 5. Cyclopia goat. In a small village in Assam, India, something truly strange happened. A baby goat was born with 1 big eye right in the middle of its forehead. The villagers had never seen anything like it. Some were shocked. Others believed it was a sign from the gods, and soon they began to worship the little goat as something holy. The condition is called Cyclopia, a rare birth defect that happens when a baby's brain doesn't split into 2 sides while it's still growing inside the mother. Because of this, the baby forms just 1 eye socket in the center of the face instead of 2. That socket can hold 1 large eye or 2 eyes that are stuck together. But Cyclopia usually comes with other problems. The little goat only had 1 full ear. It didn't have a nose, no eyelids, no eyelashes, and its jaw was very small. It couldn't close its mouth properly, so its normal-sized tongue stuck out all the time. The goat also had no teeth. Even with all these health issues, the goat became a local sensation. People came from nearby villages to see it, offer prayers, and take photos. For a short time, this one-eyed creature was not just a medical mystery, but a miracle in the eyes of many. Number 4. Buffalo crocodile baby. Imagine walking into your backyard and seeing a newborn animal that looks like it stepped right out of a myth. That's exactly what happened in a small village in Sisaket Province, Thailand, where locals were left amazed by the birth of a truly strange creature, a baby that looked like a mix between a buffalo and a crocodile. The calf had the hooves and limbs of a buffalo, but its skin was covered in hard, reptile-like scales. Even more jaw-dropping was its long snout, which looked more like something you'd see on a crocodile than a farm animal. People couldn't believe their eyes. Some even lit candles and incense around the animal, believing it might bring good luck or have spiritual meaning. Videos of the creature quickly spread across social media, and people started calling it everything from a buffadil to a mutant. Some saw it as a sign, others saw it as a miracle. One thing's for sure, it got everyone talking. Scientists say the animal was likely a buffalo with a rare skin condition, but that didn't stop the excitement. In a world full of ordinary cows and pigs, something unusual can really capture the imagination. Number 3. Albino blue-eyed alligator. Let's be honest, Florida has a thing for gators. They show up in pools and backyards, and even stroll across parking lots like they own the place. But have you ever seen a white alligator? Yep, they exist. And no, it's not a trick of the light. It's a rare condition called albinism. Albino alligators are totally white with red or pink eyes. This happens because they're missing pigment in their skin and eyes due to a genetic mutation. It's not just rare, it's extremely rare. These gators usually live in zoos or alligator attractions because, let's face it, nature isn't kind to animals that stand out. Their white skin makes it really hard for them to hide, so catching food is a big challenge in the wild. There's also a second kind of white gator called a leucistic alligator. These guys are also white, but they have piercing blue eyes and may have small patches of color on their skin. Unlike albinos, leucistic alligators still have some pigment in their eyes. But don't let their ghostly looks fool you. Just like green gators, albino alligators can grow up to 11 feet long and weigh hundreds of pounds. They may look like mythical creatures, but they've got real power and real teeth. Number 2. Zebroid. Meet the zebroid, a mix between a zebra and, well, usually a donkey or a horse. It's one of those animals that makes you question your vision. With its wild stripes and familiar body shape, it looks like nature couldn't quite make up its mind. These unusual hybrids have been around since at least the 19th century. In fact, Charles Darwin himself mentioned zebra hybrids in his writings. The word zebroid is a catch-all term for any zebra crossbreed, but the names often blend the father's and mother's species, like a zonkey, which is zebra plus donkey. It sounds like a science experiment, but it's all real. Zebroids are a bit of a mix physically too. While they usually look more like their non-zebra parent in size and build, they still get those signature zebra stripes. The stripes might only show up on the legs or neck, or they might be scattered across the body. It's never quite the same pattern. One thing to know is that they don't occur naturally in the wild. These hybrids are usually bred by humans and often end up infertile. They can also develop slight dwarfism due to the genetic differences between species. Still, with their quirky looks and rare nature, zebroids are definitely one of a kind. Number 1. King Cheetah. If you ever saw one sprint past you, you might do a double take. At first glance, it looks like a cheetah, but something's definitely different. Meet the king cheetah, a rare and stunning animal that turns heads wherever it goes. Unlike the usual cheetah with its small black spots, the king cheetah has large, blotchy patches that sometimes blend together. And running down its back? 3 bold, dark stripes from its neck all the way to its tail. It's as if nature picked up a paintbrush and got creative. What causes this? A special genetic twist. The king cheetah's look comes from a rare recessive gene that both parents must carry for a baby to be born with this amazing coat. It's not a new species, just a rare version of the regular cheetah. But that doesn't make it any less magical. You're not likely to spot one in the wild. Most king cheetahs have been seen in southern Africa, especially in places like Zimbabwe, Botswana, and parts of South Africa. Their unique look makes them stand out, which can be a problem when blending into tall grass is a matter of survival. Even though they're just a variation, their rarity makes people care deeply about their future. We hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more amazing stories.